Through interviews, expert discussions, and narratives, we uncover pathways to resilience, innovation, and evolution. Welcome to All Things Change.
Aloha and welcome to All Things Change podcast. I'm Jenny.
And I'm Oleni. Aloha.
Aloha. And today we are going to be talking to two of our entrepreneur champions, and they are recipients of our small business micro loan. And before we get to that, though, we just kind of want to briefly talk about what it's like to be a business in Hawaii and how much of a backbone businesses are here in Hawaii. So, small businesses are more than storefronts, food trucks, service food providers, as well as family run companies. But really, when we look at it, they're the heartbeat of our local economy. According to the U.S. Small Business Administration, Hawaii is home to nearly 140,000 small businesses, presenting 99.3% of all businesses in Hawaii. Plus, they employ more than 237,000 people. That's over half of Hawaii's workforce.
Yeah. Jen, I think something even more powerful is that between, I think it was 2022 and 2023, small businesses were responsible for more than 70% of Hawaii's net job growth.
Mm.
It really shows that when we invest in small businesses, we're really investing not just in the business themselves, but in local families. We're creating community stability and a future for Hawaii and our island home. And this is exactly what Changemakers Hawaii set out to do through its Community Development Financial Institution program. We are an emerging native CDFI, or Community Development Financial Institution, and we are providing access to capital and support for small business owners who are building opportunity right here at home. Behind, the small businesses, and two of them that are here to share with you today, is not just a static person. It incorporates family, a dream, and a whole lot of courage and perseverance as well. And today we get to move beyond the numbers and hear directly from two of our recipients of our Entrepreneurs Loan Fund. And so I just want to welcome both of you here. We're really excited to talk with you because you are on the ground, and I'm sure you will have some really important information to share with some other small businesses.
Mm-hmm. And so welcome Zachere, Camara-Andrade, and Rebecca Corby. And Oleni just said, they're small business owners. And, the one takeaway too that you'll hear from as we speak to these very smart, very poised, very energetic, I would say, in getting it done, business women, is that anything can be possible with community, capital, and commitment. Zachere and Rebecca, welcome. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I know, Zachere, you and I have talked before, just kind of getting a little bit of background on your story. And so Zachere is the owner of Blazin Snow in Pāhoa, and their shave ice company. And so I know when we were talking, you're telling me about when you started Blazin Snow. And, I think your story kind of highlights like that season that all takes place in that season for a lot of women and moms that they can relate to, with being at home with their newborn or caring for your family, but also wanting to feel like you're creating something of your own.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share with our viewers and listeners a little bit about that and kind of take us back to that moment?
Yeah, of course. So I've always worked, of course. And after I had my last child, I just had an urge to want to start my own business. But I honestly didn't know what I was going to do. It took a few months of brainstorming because I wanted to try to set myself up for success. So I wanted to try to pick something that we didn't really have here in Pāhoa, you know? So, and it honestly took a few months of figuring out what it was going to be and how it was going to work. But Shea Voice came to mind, and then I was like, yes, that's what we need. That's what Pāhoa needs, you know?
Yeah.
So, and then I just brainstormed on, you know, funding, trying to figure out is it something that is possible. And after I did a little research, I was like, oh, I can do this. It wasn't like break my bank, you know, to
Yeah.
start it. So, and then I just kind of took the leap of faith and did it. And I'm very happy I did, though.
Awesome.
It's awesome. And then, Rebecca, so we can kind of get to know you a little bit. I know your path was a little different, but equally inspiring, right? You're a realtor, an artist, and the owner of the Veli, which is a plant-based vegan restaurant in Pāhoa. Can you share with us, like, what inspired you to open, that type of a restaurant that's kind of rooted in healthy, sustainable food?
Yeah, so I have been a plant-based eater for a long time. I think almost 30 years now, various forms. I was vegetarian, pescatarian, so I ate fish for a while. And then I went fully vegan, aka plant-based. And what I saw is that I think more people do want to eat more healthy and eat that way, but they don't have access to it and they don't know what foods to eat and where to get it. And so it's really my activism. This restaurant, the Veli, is really my activism and my way of giving back and just providing a place that's welcome to everybody. I always say, you don't have to be vegan, it's for everybody. And, most of our customers are not even vegan, but yeah, just a way to share healthy food. And we feature mostly local produce. So, yeah, that's really what it's about. I'm passionate about protecting the earth and animals as well. So, it's really the trifecta: the health, the sustainability, and the animals. And, just providing something different and healthy for people to have that option and see if they, want to try to eat more meals that way, if it works for them and so forth. So,
How does your business allow you to give back to the community through food? Because it sounds like the Veli is, obviously way more than a restaurant, right? It's your form of activism, and
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so I'll just touch on the health aspect for a minute. So I know that, well, across America, but especially here in Hawaii, I know things like heart disease, various cancers, type 2 diabetes are still major, major factors in the community. And all of these things can really be mitigated, if not cured in some cases, with a plant-based diet, or at least a more heavily plant-based diet, moving away from, too much meat and cheese and too much, fried food and processed foods. So it's really a way to provide, a place for people to eat healthier food. And then the other pieces is the local produce. I really feel strongly that we need to return to more of a local agriculture model, especially in Hawaii. And, mad respect, I have to, mention the Native Hawaiians. We're completely self-sustainable. And I know the history, and really want to try to do my part, especially as a guest here in Hawaii, going on 20 years, but to support the local agricultural movement. And it's the food that I prefer to eat as well. And so I actually have like 10 different sources of where I get all our ingredients, and it's not easy, but I do that because I really want to source high quality and local produce as much as possible. And then we do little things too when we can have leftover food. I just put out some donuts, not the healthiest, but we do have a little bit of treats. We have a little bit of vegan treats, and we had some leftovers. I put them out last night for the homeless in Pāhoa town. So we try to give back in those ways when we can. We're not yet at a point where I can really give away a lot of food, and I can touch on that in a later question. But a restaurant is very, very tight profit margins, so we're not yet at a place where we can really give away free meals or anything, but I try to look for little opportunities like that when I can. But yeah, the majority of how we give back is just providing healthy food for people and supporting the local farmers. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome. And then also too, as you were talking, it reminded me of something that Zachere had mentioned before about what she wanted to provide to the community in Pāhoa, especially, especially children, and recalling her childhood. So, Zash, you've been able to go being just at the Maku'u Farmers Market to now into a brick and mortar storefront, into that dream. So wow, what's that? What's that like?
At first, it was so honestly like I didn't feel like it was even possible, so it felt unreal to even be able to have that opportunity. It's been great though. Like overall, I love being there. I love being a part of Pahoa Town. I love being able to what we offer and create those experiences because that's really what we're about is creating the joyful moments. So and we see it happening. I'm not gonna lie, it's been rough. Just being Pahoa is so still such a small town, and a lot of people work outside of town. So I feel like during the day it's kind of slow. But I believe like with consistency and just being committed to it and showing up every day, like it gets better. It's been a great experience overall.
One of the things, since you're both located in the same community,
Hmm.
what are some of the challenges that you think might be unique to running? Both of you are in the sort of food industry, running a food industry business in Pāhoa.
You want to go first? Ash, you can go.
I can, yeah. So of course, enough people going through the town, I feel like is definitely a challenge because we want to keep ourselves at a certain level, just because we are trying to make a profit.
Right.
So I feel like that plays a big factor in ourselves. And the parking is another challenge in that area.
Mm.
And like even I have my own personal challenges being that I'm a single mom with some of my kids. So, just trying to work around scheduling and all of that. And even finding employment is kind of hard too. I noticed in Pahoa a little bit, finding people to show up every day, and be committed. And yeah, I would say that is some of my most challenges I'm facing being.
Yeah. Thank you. How
You're
about you,
welcome.
Rebecca?
Yeah, I would agree with all of those as well. And just to add to like the traffic and customers, Pahoa, just like anywhere in Hawaii, businesses rely on a mix of local residents and visitors.
Yes.
And it's a challenge right now for everybody. The economy is not really in the greatest place right now. So a lot of our local residents are tight on their spending. So, people aren't eating out and supporting local businesses as much as they might have in the past. And then we also have the added, slow of the travel being kind of slow right now. So it's definitely a challenging time for local businesses. And then I would add to that, Pahoa is a beautiful little town that I fell in love with and decided to invest in because I love the historic little towns of Hawaii. And I decided to purchase this old building that's almost 100 years old. But it's tough. We also have quite a lot of homeless and mental health issues and drug issues in town. And so as a business owner, I'm sure Zash deals with that as well. But it can be really challenging, and all the resources in those realms seem kind of strapped right now. And so when there's no, when the police are busy or there's no mental crisis counselor, I think we're supposed to have crisis counselors, but they didn't fill the position. So anyways, it ends up falling back on the business owners and the staff a lot of time to try to handle some of these people. It's been really eye-opening. It's definitely been a challenge, and trying to find other nonprofits and other like resources to try to help these people as well. But yeah, that's kind of an additional challenge of
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
I feel like when I first started, because I started at the end of the summer, like we got, of course, a rush in the beginning, but I've heard that most businesses do when they first open, because everybody wants to try it and all of that. But the winter was really rough with the whole, I think the government shut down, everybody was holding on to their money and we didn't have a lot of travelers. But I will say in the last month, I feel like Pahoa is picking back up. Like there's people in town almost every day. You see a lot of travelers coming in again. So I believe like pick back up, and I noticed that with business, you go through seasons of
Yeah.
lows and highs, so, but I just wanted to point that out. Like, that's
Yeah.
something that I noticed since being there.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Me as well. Yeah, and it definitely goes in cycles and it can be unpredictable. But yeah, we also
Yeah.
will have, good weeks
That's the
and
word.
really slow weeks, and then it's just up and down, up and down. But yeah, I'm hopeful too. Things are going to continue to improve as well. Yeah.
Are you guys located in the same area?
I think we're very close. Yes, I've gone over to the Veli a few times for lunch. Yeah, and honestly, I'm not vegan either,
Yeah.
but I loved it. I like how creative you are too, so it's super cool.
Thanks. Yeah, I've seen Blazing Snow. Yeah, it's right in front of the well, now it's Koa's Lounge, the bar
Yes,
there.
yeah,
It's super cute.
yes.
Yeah, it's very
Thank
cute.
you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, since there's both of you there and other businesses like you mentioned, Core Lounge, I'm wondering like if maybe in the down cycle of business,
Nice.
that can be some like collaboration or sort of like
Yes,
coming together
Yeah.
to beef up those times
yes,
when business is slow. Just a thought.
yes, yes. No, that
Yeah.
sounds good.
Yeah, I
That sounds
actually had an idea about that before. I haven't had time to get to it, but one idea was to get together with some other businesses and create a brochure, like visit Pāhoa town with a little map and some history about the town. And then, maybe the businesses that can pay, they could have a little ads to fund the
Yeah,
flyers. And then a way to get it down into Hilo, maybe to some of the cruise ships and stuff like that, so that
yeah,
they even know that, Pāhoa exists and come check it
yeah,
out, because it is
yeah.
such a unique little town. I think I read it's like Pāhoa has the largest collection of century-old buildings now in the state, is what I read. So,
Because they tore down a lot, I know. I remember Haleiwa in Oahu was very similar,
yeah,
and now it's so different.
yeah,
And that's one thing I love about Pahoa too, is the historicness of it.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you need help with, like, if you come up with that for sure, maybe it can be like a treasure hunt thing that they can
yeah,
go and visit
Yeah.
businesses and get,
yeah,
maybe a discount or something. But let us know.
with either QR codes and things like that.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Fun. Right on, right on.
Yeah.
So we were talking about challenges. So for the both of you, the access to capital seems to be like the hugest barrier and even like super intimidating as a small business, when you're trying to go in and you're wearing many hats and you go into a financial institution, a traditional financial institution, and there's so much red tape. And then even after you go through all of that, then you know, you get denied. What would you say to another entrepreneur who knows they need the help but feels nervous about taking that step? Because that step with Changemakers was very different. So, based on your experiences, what would you say to another entrepreneur who would feel nervous about trying to embark on that step?
I would say go for it, you know? Well, just because, well, I mean, if they're really committed to their business, and they have a plan, then why not try, right?
Yeah.
That's what I feel like we gotta take the risk sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I would just add to that for me, as somebody who's always been kind of fiercely independent, sometimes to a fault, it's been humbling. So I actually have owned many different businesses over the years, but having a restaurant is a whole other animal. And it's really the first time I really needed to reach out and get some loans. All my other businesses, I was able to self fund and kind of get them up and running relatively quickly. But a restaurant, like I said, is just really different. And so it was kind of humbling, and it was like, I need this help. And so I'm so grateful for Changemakers, because as Jenny said, it is hard as a small independent business to get like a traditional bank to believe in you, especially with a new business. And so Yeah, so to anybody else out there, I would say if you really have the passion about something, do the research, of course, have a business plan and do all the numbers. But if you still need help, there is resources here, and there's no shame in getting help, because yeah, a lot of the big national chains and corporations have tons of backing. They have so much behind them. And so as a small business owner, it can feel really isolating, like you're on your own, but this is a wonderful resource. And so, yeah, if somebody else is in that position, I would say reach out and see if you can get into the program as well.
And one thing I noticed too is you need a team, and it's a lot easier when you have a team than when you're doing it
Yeah.
alone, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really good. We are going to be having our next entrepreneur course being offered. And one thing we want to implement in this next go round is to bring together past, current, and I guess past and current people who are participating in the entrepreneurs program to create that network of experience and sharing, so that, again, I say both of you guys are in the same area and are experiencing the same challenges as regarding traffic, and the traffic that you do get, or the community that sometimes comes onto your doorstep that needs extra help. I mean, just some of the challenges you guys shared right now. We really want to create a sense of community that
Yeah.
you can sort of problem solve, not by yourself, but with other people who
Yeah.
are dealing with similar things. And that's a element of the program that we are trying to implement in this next go around. And so
Nice.
that will be create that sense of community and that you're not alone. And just based off of listening to you two entrepreneurs, like the wealth of experience that you can bring to other entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yes.
I was wondering, like, what advice or what would you tell a version of yourself who is just sort of starting off? What advice would you give yourself?
To not quit, because there's
Yeah.
gonna be days, especially in the beginning, and even still yet, there's days where it can feel overwhelming or
Yeah.
impossible, you know, but to keep showing up every day and just be consistent. So I believe success takes time
Hmm.
and consistency. So, we just gotta stick with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely can agree with that. Yeah, I've definitely had many moments where I was like, I can't do this anymore. This is too crazy.
Mhm.
What am I doing? I already have 2 jobs and I started a restaurant. But what keeps me going is the community, as our customers, and people are
Mhm.
so grateful.
Yes.
They come in all the time. They're like, "Wow, thank you so much. The food is so good and healthy." They're just like, "We're so glad you're here," and that keeps me going.
Yeah, it
So
really does.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's great.
At the beginning of the podcast, we talked a little bit about stats for small businesses in Hawaii. And so, a lot of the time when we hear stuff like that, it just sounds like numbers on a page. But I think, you know, in sharing your story and, the reality of running a business in Hawaii and what you do contribute to the community, that there's a lot more behind those numbers, right? There's the heart that you bring to it. These are moms like Zash, artists like Rebecca, and creators, risk takers, and community builders. So I would like for you, each of you, if you could finish this sentence. Supporting small business in Hawaii matters because.
When you support small businesses, that's like supporting your neighbor. It's you're actually supporting the people in our community who live here.
Mhm.
It's it stays here. Like when you support me, you support my kids. Like they do extracurriculars. So you're literally supporting those things. Even our how we pay our electric. Like you're.
Mhm.
And that's why I would say like your neighbor, because it could be anybody. You're pretty much supporting the person next to you.
Yeah.
Well, for me at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The same thing come to mind about you're supporting people that live here, local residents who also are going to go back and contribute to other local businesses
Right.
Yes.
and live with the challenges, all the wonderful, amazing things that come with living in Hawaii, but the challenges as well. And so you're supporting people that are, invested here, personally invested in the community and aren't just, somebody on the outside extracting, it's somebody who lives here too.
It's also contributing to the
Yeah.
community. So it kind of goes round and round, right? When you
Yeah.
support local.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then like I mentioned, a big piece of my restaurant is trying to source as much as the produce from local farmers as much as possible. So,
Right.
local businesses tend to be also more invested in supporting other, local businesses and
Local.
things like that. So it just helps to just keep, the economy more small and more meaningful to the people that live there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I was gonna say, like, not only is like when you sell something and you get that money, like there's almost like an ecosystem around you, whether it's your vendors, your customers, your own family, your staff. And again, like I said, like going back to the vendors where you're sourcing all your ingredients, materials. I know that can be I can know that can be a challenge in Hawaii, to find the things that you want to source locally and be able to afford it on top of that and have it, and not afford it, but have it make sense with your profit
Yes.
margins. And then that can be a challenge. While your heart may definitely want to purchase something local, if you can get something cheaper and that makes more of a profit. I mean, that's just an element of business.
Yeah.
But I think Entrepreneurs is trying to really support businesses that are concerned about the place that they're located, which it sounds like both of you are deeply embedded into the community that you're working in, that care about the people that are connected, vendors, family, customers, et cetera, partnering businesses. And then also, the passion that you both have regarding your business. And then, of course, profit. And we're always trying to figure out ways to help, particularly food businesses and the food infrastructure in Hawaii, so that small businesses who rely on products from Hawaii can get it at a cost that doesn't make their profit margins so small and tight. Do you have any thoughts on like any improvements related to the infrastructure that you think we should be looking at that could help you maybe purchase items that allow you to have a broader profit margin?
One thing that comes to mind, and this is a whole can of worms, it's a whole other topic, but I would love to see our government put more towards supporting local farmers, more incentives, making
Yes.
I'm not a total expert on it, but I know there's like leases that farmers can get
Yeah.
for farmhold land. Just that needs to be really like opened up and remove some of the barriers that's preventing people from wanting to be farmers and the younger
Mhm.
generation too. I think that the state could be doing a lot there to help incentivize that so we can, keep moving towards this, back to local ag movement. So that would really help because right now we do have the hardcore people doing it that really believe in it and have the passion, but it's so hard. And it's like
Yeah.
they're always up against the challenges of the imported food being cheaper, And so,
Yes.
yeah, somehow we have to make incentives and make it easier for people to get into local farming so that we can have more. And one idea I had for that too would be like a cooperative like processing plant. So for example, we have jackfruit. It's funny, we have a jackfruit tree right outside our building. And so when it does produce, we use that jackfruit in our restaurant. We do a barbecue like Kahlua style jackfruit. And then,
Mm.
but it's so challenging to find people to process it. I've processed it tons of times. It's a big, heavy duty, sticky mess. Jackfruit are
Yeah.
massive fruits. And similar with coconuts, it's a lot of hard labor. One idea I had is if we had like a local fruit processing like warehouse or something with the fancy machinery that made it easier and faster. It's like
Yeah.
maybe we could get more of a local coconut industry going and local jackfruit and maybe some other fruits that are kind of labor intensive where they could be processed, because right now, even if we have the coconuts growing here for free and the jackfruit growing for free, it's still cheaper to import it than to
Uh-huh.
pay local labor to process it, which is really challenging and kind of heartbreaking. But I thought if we had like a processing plant that made it faster and easier to process and turn these into, coconut milk, coconut products, jackfruit things, that, maybe we could be more competitive and have more locally produced fruits and things. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I agree. And actually,
Mm-hmm.
Changemakers is preparing ourselves to be able to acquire funds to create that exact thing. We
Nice.
want to build an agricultural infrastructure that is cooperative. And so it's not where, not, the other thing is a lot of small businesses go and buy all these big equipment, but it's like only theirs. And so there's this multiplication of every like business having to purchase
Yeah.
the
Right.
same machines. And so if we should get a little bit smarter and share
Yeah.
and build that infrastructure,
Yeah.
when crazy things happen in the world, which seem to be coming at a faster and faster pace, we could be more food sustainable and
Yes.
be able to provide versus like, during COVID, we did a lot of supporting small businesses, but also a lot of the produce was being shipped in still,
Hmm.
and it was part of it was, I think what we learned was that there was like, who's getting the food out there, who's distributing it and all that kind of stuff. And I think we have some of that done, but as far as like having a place, and I know Hawaii Food Basket is trying to raise funds for their facility that will do a lot of that work as well. And so we just need more of that. We need the
Yes.
infrastructure for our
I've
ag.
always wondered why, because I buy my produce from farmers markets, but
Yeah.
most of them get it from Oahu.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind on how
You know,
we don't have our own.
Yeah.
We
yeah.
live in Hawaii. We should be able to be buying from here. I know we have a few small, farmers
Yeah.
and stuff, but it's sad that we go to the farmers market like I did, thinking I was buying
Right.
from them, but
Hmm.
Yeah.
really they get it shipped in. So you do have to be careful if you're really trying to support the local. Like, ask
Okay.
questions.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's another thing too, right? Like a list of farmers who are Hawaii Island, even like Pāhoa,
Hmm.
supporting people in that
Yeah.
area, so great ideas. I love these ideas.
Yes.
So we're getting close to our time being up. Is there anything that either of you wanted to share? Just either about your business, hopes, things, things coming in the future, anything?
I could, yeah, I can share. I just want to thank Changemakers and Alani so much. When I got the loan, I was really at a critical point in one of those moments where I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can keep carrying this. I'm not making money. I'm working all the time. And I had actually gotten some small high interest loans. One of them was like a merchant advance loan through my Square
Mm,
processor, which seemed really good at first. And then I realized it was taking any chance of making profit. So, anyways, I was really in a critical spot. And I just, the loan from Changemakers is what gave me the wind back in my sails to keep it going.
nice.
So I'm just so grateful for that. And then, um, yeah, I'll just share a little bit more. The Veli is in Pāhoa town. If anybody's interested in coming by, I always say just check our Google listing for the hours. Our hours are still kind of limited. We're open all day Friday and Saturday, noon to 8, and then we're open for dinner Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 to 8. I'm going to be working tonight, actually. So people are always like, wow, I can't figure out your hours. And I'm like, I know, like, that's another challenge. The goal is to expand and be open every day, noon to 8, but there's many challenges there. So I tell people, just check our Google listing if you're not sure. I keep it up to date. And there is street parking, and there is the lot on Kauhale Street. People always ask about that. Where can they park? And yeah, it's open for everybody. I don't want anybody to feel intimidated that they have to be plant-based at all. We don't ask, we don't care. We just want everybody to come try the food and yeah, come check it out. Thank you.
Then where can people find you online?
So we are on Facebook and Instagram, the Veli Pāhoa. That's Veli. It's like deli with a V.
Oh, cool.
And then our website, they can go to thevelipāhoa.com. They can also order online and see the whole menu. We just recently added DoorDash as well. DoorDash is trying to get more established here on Big Island. They just did a big push with adding local restaurants and recruiting more drivers. Which I'm really excited about that because I know there's a lot of people here that don't drive for various reasons. Disabled people or folks who just don't have a vehicle. And if they want to get a treat once in a while and treat themselves, I think that's great. So yeah, now people can get our food delivered to them as well through DoorDash.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I'd like to say
And then
thank
Zash?
you to thank you too. I appreciate everything that Changemakers has done for me. You know, I've learned a lot, and I was able to take my business to the next step. You can find Blazin Snow in Pāhoa Town as well. Our address is 15-2929 Pāhoa Village Road. We're open Thursday, Friday, Saturday from 1 to 6. And then Sundays, you can find us at Maku'u Market still yet from 7:30 till 2 p.m. We are planning to open more during the summer, so I'd say check my Google listing as well. I keep it up to date. We're hoping to be open Tuesday through Saturday during the summer. But we do keep our hours. I try to keep my hours the same because people get confused. I noticed people were getting confused when I had it different times, different days. So I try to just stick to one simple time, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where you can find us. And we do shave ice. We also, so over there, we have a bigger menu. We do snacks, hot dogs, nachos, sandwiches. We also offer homemade ice cream, but we only usually have about 2 flavors for homemade ice cream. And we usually try to offer a vegan option as well.
Nice.
Like we just had a mango sorbet for our vegan option. Because I did notice there is a lot of vegans in Pāhoa Town, and I just wanted to, you know, I wanted everybody to be able to get something from the snack
Nice.
shop. But yeah, so that's where we are.
And then where can we find you online?
Instagram and Facebook, Blazin Snow Hawaii, and Hawaii spelled out. And that's pretty much it. I got rid of my website. It wasn't, I just funds wise, I had to balance, you know,
Yeah.
and it's not like I make sales online or anything. And I do have a Google, like if you can Google me on Google Maps as well to find directions. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank
A
you
lot
all
of
so much.
So, everyone, listening to Zash and Rebecca reminds us that small businesses don't begin with perfect conditions, right? They begin with courage, creativity, and a willingness to just keep going.
Yeah.
So, whether it's bringing shave ice joy to families or a plant based restaurant that's nourishing our community, these businesses help make Hawaii and our local economy more vibrant, more resilient, and more rooted in the people that call this place home. So, for anyone who is listening who has a business and you are ready to grow, or you need support taking the next step, our Inapreneur program is designed to help local Inapreneurs build stronger, more sustainable businesses with the tools, guidance, and community support they need to move forward. So visit changemakershawaii.org or check out the link in the description to learn more and sign up. And you know what? Who knows?
Yeah.
Your idea could be the next story that we're celebrating. Anyway,
Yeah.
so mahalo, Zash and Rebecca, again for taking the time out of your day and joining us for the podcast.
Yeah.
Until next
Thank you
time,
for coming.
everyone.
Thanks so
Bye.
much.
Thank
Nice
you.
meeting you, Zash. I'll see you.
Nice meeting you too. I'll see you around.
Yeah.
Oh,
Bye.
yo.